The views and opinions expressed by this program's hosts, guests, listeners, and viewers are solely the views and opinions of the original source who expresses them. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of TV5 Network Incorporated, its subsidiaries and affiliates, and their respective stockholders, directors, officers, and employees.
Sounding off from Los Angeles, the undisputed king of podcasting, who's all about the good times, Mo Twister. Representing New York City, a social media monster and co-creator of the Not Bill Walton Twitter feed, Chris Savage. All the way from Sydney, Australia, a basketball media veteran and unapologetic cultural critic, Bradford Graham. Holding it down from Manila, a seasoned sportscaster with the studio skills to pay the bills, Gino Rufino. This is Full Court Report.
All right, welcome to the Full Court Report. Pretty excited to have another episode with you guys. We are four guys in four different cities all around the world. My name is Mo. I'm in Los Angeles. Chris over there is in New York City. Brad, south part of the planet over there in Australia. And we have Gino Rufino in studio in Metro Manila. And we are going to Brad first in Sydney. Brad, you got 12 minutes for quarter number one. It's all yours, buddy. What's up?
All right. Thanks, Mo. I was just going to say, am I the only one south of the equator? What's the story here? I haven't even checked the geography. Shows how much I know from U9 geography. But anyways.
So just a tad. Philippines just a tad north. Yeah, sorry. All right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Anyways, yeah, same different hemisphere, different time zones, whatever. But anyway, I wanted to quickly kick off episode 23 by spending a little time talking about Portland Trailblazer Damian Lillard. I mean, they're really sort of two distinct sides to the Lillard coin, which I wanted to touch on here. But first, let's tackle his on-court showings. He's in his fourth pro season, and currently Dame Dollar is sixth in the NBA in points per game, which I think is going to be a surprise to some. But he's also handing out a career-high 7 assists per, which means that he's not, exactly ball hogging. Now, he's been wildly inconsistent. Some nights he's clutch. We saw that against Oklahoma City. But on other nights, he just can't take care of business. And he's actually also blamed the fact that they're a young team on their inability to close out games. But despite the ups and downs of his individual performances, the Blazers are on the cusp of being a playoff team, which is pretty much ahead of where all the experts had picked them at the start of the year. Mm-hmm. Lillard's often considered a franchise cornerstone, but has also built a reputation as a clutch performer. So I guess I want to find out from you guys, where halfway through this year, what's your opinion of the 2015-16 version of Damian Lillard?
Well, he's having a career year. I mean, everybody thought when LaMarcus left Portland, everybody said, poor Damian Lillard, he's going to be stuck there by himself. They lost all the starters, all the other starters on the team, and they're going to stink. They're going to be rebuilding. They're going to start from scratch. They've got nothing. And all of a sudden, here comes Damian Lillard. Plus his backcourt mate.
Are you saying he's on track to have a career year, or he's already having a career year?
I think he's having a career year because he's doing this. I mean, CJ has obviously helped a lot. Nobody really saw him coming and having this type of a season. But I just think
this is Lillard. Lillard shot 4 from 18 in a loss to Philadelphia,
yes.
4 from 14 in a home game to Memphis, and then 7 from 25 against the Clippers.
Yeah,
those numbers don't scream career year, even though he's had more double doubles this season than he's had all of last year.
I think because the attention now is a lot focused on him because they don't have that low post threat anymore or that mid range guy in LaMarcus. So I do think he's having a career year. Maybe he's not as consistent as maybe he has been in the past because he doesn't have really somebody to defer to in the same way as he did with LaMarcus. I mean, the dynamics of having a big and a small as compared to two smalls running the show is a little bit different. So I think it's just he's maybe not as efficient, not as consistent, but I still do consider it a career year for Damian Lillard.
I agree with you, Gino, there. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Crystal. You go first.
Yeah, you know what? It looks like a career year, and I think, Brad, you hit it a little bit, is when he has good games, his efficiency through the roof. He's having tremendous games, and when he's having bad games, he's low in efficiency. So what that equates to is pretty good efficiency from the point guard position. For someone who has to handle the ball a lot more with LaMarcus gone, and I know he has help from McCollum, he is still a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. So it's a pretty good year for him, considering that I don't know about a career year. The numbers look that way, but considering all the focus is on him and the Blazers are overachieving on their expectations to start the year, I think it's a very solid year for him overall, and it could be a career year when it's all said and done.
Right. So,
yeah,
I
think it's career year. I think he's having a better year this year than he is last year, and that's statistically the only thing where I see him kind of tailing off is the field goal percentage. But it's not even all that off. It's 43% last year. It's 41 right now. More points, more threes, more assists.
Right, he's not Steph Curry. He doesn't shoot the ball at a clip that is going to sort of blow your mind.
He's even going to the line more this year. Yeah,
his defense is still pure garbage. Still has pure garbage defense.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So how much of this is Lillard, being the franchise guy, taking on the responsibility, doing what needs to be done in terms of keeping the Blazers competitive, and how much of this needs to be credited to his teammates and McCollum and these other guys, are basically exceeding expectations, given no expert had them in the 8th seed going into this year? I mean, which is it?
It's just I think it's a little bit of everything. It's a West that has teams that we thought were going to do much better than they are doing right now, and then you just see Portland taking advantage of that. Again, the Pelicans were a playoff team last year; they're not one this year. The Rockets are crap. So I mean, you got the Blazers being able to take advantage of that, and of course the rise of C.J. McCollum, and just to kind of like go against what a little point that you gave Gino, that no one saw McCollum being this good. Oh yeah, everybody saw McCollum being this good this year. He was excellent late last year, and we knew that he was going to be the step-up guy. Now, did we think he was going to go from 6 points a game last year to 20 right now? I mean, I don't know if that would be an accurate statement, but again, it's a team that is taking advantage of its opportunity. It's the 8th seed right now, right? As we tape this, they are the 8th seed in the playoffs, and they're gonna fall though, as I always say with all these other teams that doesn't have the roster there, the Knicks. They'll
I'm
fall.
not saying that he's clearly the most talented guy on this team, and everyone knew that once Lamarcus left, that it was going to be Lillard's team, and they were going to live and die by his playmaking, his scoring, his everything. Okay, take Steph out of the equation. Does anyone have a problem with a point guard putting up this many sort of shots or sort of doing things from the front? I mean, I know this is some of it is due to just the environment that he's in, but I'm more of a traditionalist. I don't like my point guard being the 6th highest scorer in the NBA. I want him to get.
You love Russell Westbrook, though. I mean, what are you talking about? Westbrook's your dude.
New NBA, baby. New NBA, baby. That's how it is now. There's not always a lot of pass first point guards. There's plenty of shoot first, and if he's a team leader, he needs to get it done. Really quickly, though, to talk about McCollum, and you want to talk about Lillard's inconsistency, though, Brad. McCollum lately has not been as good as he was earlier in the season, so Lillard had to take on more of a role when McCollum's stats have gone a little bit down recently as well. So keep that in mind.
Right. Here's the thing, too. The Blazers have a bunch of home games coming up between now and All-Star break. They're playing 8 out of 10 at home. I think if they're going to make a push for the playoffs, if they're going to assert themselves in the West, if they're going to show themselves to be better than the crowd for that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th sort of spots, this is their chance to do so. But I'm going to shift gears a little bit here and say that one possible explanation for Lillard's inconsistency might be the fact that he has a love affair with being a slasher. And I don't mean slasher in the Jason Voorhees sense. I mean slasher as in he's a player and he's an entertainer. Now,
sure.
I don't know if you guys caught this, but on Martin Luther King Day, Damian Lillard, the new face of Adidas basketball, the man who doesn't have as many Twitter followers as one Mr. Mo Twister, released a 5-minute song. That's correct. He's under 1 million Twitter followers. Sorry, Mo. Yeah, he's playing in your shadows. What can I say? But he released a track called Bigger Than Us. Now, what's interesting about this is I put the link out on my Twitter feed, but I wanted to address something here because the song has very strong social and civil issues that Lillard and obviously many people feel are plaguing the United States right now. Yet this song is a little disingenuous, I'm sorry. Now, here's a quick backstory before we sort of delve into this. In September 2014, Harman International announced a 4-year deal with the NBA. They're now the league's official headphone speaker and audio partner, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. Now, they own a company called JBL, and JBL signed Lillard as its brand ambassador. And the agreement, part of the agreement was making Lillard face of the brand's marketing. Now, as inspirational and timely as the track is that Lillard released, there is a huge commercial angle here. JBL, an NBA partner, approached Lillard to be the face and the voice of this MLK Day initiative. In other words, the timing of the release and the resources poured into it were by no means an accident. So should the NBA be more transparent with this stuff? I mean, this is essentially a deal that affects a lot of lives here. Lillard's putting himself out on a branch trying to, be the spokesperson for a movement. Does the NBA owe its fans, or does these companies owe their consumers the right to know what's going on. I mean, the brand logo and its products are throughout the clip that Lillard's, a main feature of. Is this collaboration to be believed? I mean, do we take it at face value, or do we want more honesty from the NBA on this stuff?
Can the commercial brand really help raise awareness despite them also going for profits? If they can, why not? Why not bring awareness to some of these, racial harmony causes that Lillard's trying to do? I think that's important. Does the NBA have responsibility to kind of separate those? Well, they have a responsibility to anything that they have attached to their name. They're going to have to, if they're going to go forward with this, they're going to have to kind of vet out if this thing is going to work. It might be risky, but I don't care if it's a corporate sponsor, it can help raise awareness for something that's important if they can pull it off. And by the way, while we're talking about the name Dame Dollar is an awful rap name. He should change it.
Kid's got skills, but he needs work on his name.
Dame Dollar.
Sure.
But I mean, look, here's my point. I guess just quickly, Mo, I just want to say that, like, obviously the MLK Day is such a big day for a lot of people in terms of what it promotes and what it stands for. Yet here's a company trying to sell headphones and using Lillard and a social message to do so. Does anybody else find that this is a little sort of, I don't know, corruptive or something?
Not.
I mean, how do we feel? Do we not care? Is the PR thing just no?
No, I mean, I know why you care, because you're a brand guy and you're sensitive about things like that, and that's fine, because I think that's that's how you went to school for things like this. I think as a regular kind of Joe who watches the NBA, I have zero problem with this as a public consumer or anything like that. I don't need any kind of transparency. This you're talking about the United States here, wherein they commercialize every holiday possible. So I'm sure there's MLK. Car deals and all of that stuff. I really don't see a problem with it. Yeah, I really don't see a problem with it if there's a corporate profit kind of angle to all of this social awareness stuff. No big deal to me.
Yeah, I mean, even in sneakers, you see the MLK shoes that dropped recently. I mean, in all brands, not just some of the top ones. I mean, they really try and milk these holidays.
But Gino, I guess my point is that that's packaged as a product. Like, the point is that those shoes make no apologies for saying that they're actually shoes. In this case, this is a song trying to drive a movement using Lillard as the face of it because he actually believes in this stuff, and yet the very purpose of it is to sell headphones.
Well, it depends who wrote the song.
Hidden the message.
Is that the only?
Well, they actually they commissioned Lillard to write it.
Okay, then so now Lil. So okay, right. Then I'm really okay with it, because it's not really saying, hey, Lillard, write us a song about this. It's, hey, Lillard, write a song, and
no.
They told me what it had to be
about. No, there was no sort of hidden message in terms of, like, no, they wanted to attach themselves to this message. They knew that this was the talk of the town. They knew the timing and the day of the release was very key for their marketing push. My point is, it's just a brand piggybacking on something that they shouldn't piggyback on. I guess that's my point.
So, Brad, is this a start of things to come, in your opinion? With the
NBA? No, I think it's already fully, the wheels have churned. The corporate machine has already taken over these days. I'm not saying that this is, something that's rare. I'm saying that this just happens to involve an NBA player who, and an NBA and an organization that I care deeply about. Therefore, I'm a little bit sort of curious as to why they would go ahead and do it in the exact way that they did it, and then not tell anybody about it.
Here's my problem with it, because we got to go now. I have more Twitter followers than Damian Lillard. I had a rap album that came out in 1999. I was nominated MTV Asian Award Best Male Artist of that year. I lost. But damn it, JBL, next time, how about send a little my way? I got a better Twitter following. Better than Lillard's there. I could do you better.
Hey, Mo, when you start earning Lillard money, give me a call.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, never mind. All right, never mind. All right, I gotta take a break. All right, when we come back, my instrumental is gonna be playing after the second quarter. It's the Full Court Report. Back after this. Don't go away.
He has made viewers laugh with his funny antics and awesome style in comedy. He has also been in quite a few headlines himself. Well, funny man Arnel Ignacio loves good times too. Curious if he has funny secrets he'd like to spill? Then head on to www.tv5.com.ph/originals and watch Good Times with Mo. Thursday, 9 p.m. on Digital 5. Call us on our hotline, also on Viber and Skype.
Welcome back to the Full Court Report. We are at our second quarter, and we will now head over to New York City. Hand it over to Chris over there. 12 minutes, yours, Chris. What are you going to do with it?
All right, fellas, let's talk about JJ Redick, superstar. The Clippers are 10-1 without Blake Griffin, and we've spoken about that here on the podcast. We've tried to come up with reasons why that's the case. I really feel that the biggest reason, and if you watched it recently, it's pretty evident, the biggest reason has been the offensive load J.J. Redick has carried lately. He's been their biggest scorer since Blake's injury. And at 31 years old, J.J. is already having his best season. It's kind of been that way the last couple seasons, especially when he's been signed with the Clippers. He just continues to get better and better each year. So before Blake's injury, he was still scoring 16 a game and 50% behind the arc and from the field, which is tremendous in his role. Since Blake's absence, he's averaging 21 points a game, 54% from the field, and get this, guys, 59% from three-point land.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And by the way, he has the second best true field goal percentage in the NBA behind only Steph. So that is insane. If you saw it Monday night, he dropped 40 on the Rockets, although a dead man could probably drop 20 at least on Harden, but he dropped 40 on them. So you would think that with Blake out, he would suffer a little bit because of the double teams Blake commanded, but he hasn't. It's been quite the opposite. So guys, what do you attribute to J.J. Redick's strong performance this season, but also really more than strong performance in this 10-1 run for the Clippers with Blake out?
His new tattoos, maybe?
Well, that too.
Go
ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. No, I was just going to say quickly that obviously it seems that we've always known him to be a sniper. Like, there's no breaking news there. He's been a gunner since he stepped into the league. Yeah. But here it just seems like he's just growing confident, and maybe he's just got a little more fight and dog in him. Maybe, Doc Rivers pulled him aside and, had said to him, look, responsibility's on you. You're a starter. You need to, be out there and earning your keep. And you know what? Maybe this is a case of Chris Paul's, creativity and maybe not having Blake there means that they're not just sort of dumping the ball to Blake and then expecting him to do things. Maybe there's more sort of sharing around, and there's more sort of everybody taking on a little bit more of a burden. And, ball movement at the end of the day is a key to success in the NBA. So you imagine swinging the perimeter, finding guys on the three for open looks and working JJ off screens as I know they do. Man, the guy can knock it down. He's one of the purest shooters we've got. So it doesn't surprise me that Doc's gone to him more. What does surprise me is that he's shooting it at such a high clip, because there's no secret in the NBA that JJ can knock them down.
This is where I think that...
Go ahead, Gino.
This is where I think that Chris Paul. You know how much sometimes we rag on him on this show that he's not clutch. He's not as a great point guard as he once was. But this is where I think CP3 definitely thrives, because I think JJ's play is partly because of CP3. I mean, I remember going back when he was in Orlando, and I thought to myself, or even when he was in Duke and he was about to go to the NBA, I thought this guy's not going to have a long career in the NBA.
Right.
I thought Trajan Langdon was a better shooter when he was in Duke.
Bad call.
But I'm just saying that I didn't think that he was going to have a good career in the NBA. But what we're seeing this year, I think, is really a product of how CP3 finds him and within the system of Doc Rivers.
So that's a good point, Gino. That's a good point. But in a lot of ways, especially recently, don't you think JJ Redick has also helped CP3?
Oh yeah,
he spaces the floor. Spaces the floor. This guy actually has the best net differential in the NBA when he's on the floor out of the whole NBA. JJ, I think it's a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's gotten better. He's gotten a whole lot better.
I think Redick is just a late bloomer, man. He's shooting like he is, back in Duke, but also it's because he's now first option on that team with Blake down. So it's just
unbelievable.
All those other guys are kind of opportunity garbage, dirty type of players, and dirty in a good sense, meaning, they'll get trash points here and there. So you have the pure scorer, their number one option, and they're just kind of using that. So I would like to see him get more minutes. I mean, just kind of throughout the year. He's only averaging 27. And, while we're all like, wow, what a great year he's having, he's averaging the same amount of points, the same amount of threes, the same slightly better field goal percentage this year as he did last year. But I think what the difference is that they're looking for him now. He's no longer the garbage three-point shooter guy that you keep out to, but he's your number one target, and that's what's nice to see.
And he's also,
keep in mind, he's averaging 32 points over the stretch with Blake out too. So hopefully they can keep him going with Blake returning.
But he's also improved. He's also improved a lot in different dynamics of his game. He's gotten a lot stronger. He's worked on his ball handling. He can have that little up fake and then take 2 steps and pull up for a J. I mean, he didn't have that when he was with the Orlando Magic. He basically just passed. He stood in the corner and he caught the ball and shot it. That's what he was with the Magic.
He's benefiting from the system,
Yeah.
but in tandem with that, he's just gotten a whole lot more aggressive.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
How
think
much would
that's
you
part of the
attribute this to the
underlying success
evolution
for
of the
him.
three-point shot? It plays to his
I
game.
was
Does the
just
evolution-
just gonna bring that up because the 3-pointers that he's taking are Steph Curry looking styles, where everybody's wanting to do this. And if you got the ability to do it, and now the green light because some of the coaches are more tolerant of these, 5 feet beyond the 3-point line kind of shots, then absolutely he's going to be able to use
Chris,
that.
maybe that's
to
what
his
happened here.
advantage.
Maybe the second Blake went down, Doc Rivers put in a phone call. He got like a library full of videotapes of how Steph plays, and he just gave them all to JJ, and he just said to him, look, spend the weekend studying how the best plays, learn from him, and just play that aggressive. Look for your own shot. We need help while Blake's down. But what's interesting here isn't that JJ's on this hot streak. It's more, will he sustain the streak once Blake comes back? Because it's not like Blake's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
And this comes back to original point, sometimes having, a player like Blake out there actually can be disruptive to getting ball movement and
keep
open
in
looks
mind,
and being
Brad, he's
productive.
been averaging these types of shooting numbers. He's just getting less touches without Blake, less minutes. Now without
Right.
Blake, he's doing it, and without the double teams that Blake commands. So keep that in mind. Also, here's another thing: they're doing it. He's doing it without a consistent wing. This team has not had a consistent three all year, and especially with Blake out now, he's been doing it without a three there. He's also on that famous club, if you will, has a chance at the 50-40-90 club. That's rarefied air of the KDs
Sure.
and the Steph Currys of the world. So I'll ask you guys this:
How many
where
KDs?
is he for the second tier shooting guards? We know the first tier shooting guards. Where is he among the second tier shooting guards this year? Is he among the top? Is he up there with McCollum as number 1 and 2 among the second tier this year?
Second tier is Dwayne Wade.
What was that? Well, it depends what we know. Mo puts in the second tier, but what I'm talking about, guys. We have Harden, the Klay Thompsons, the Dwayne Wade's, Jimmy Butler, Harden. After that, is JJ among the top of the next tier? Is he better than McCollum this year? I know McCollum has more minutes, but JJ's shooting is unbelievable. Now he's carrying the offensive load where McCollum doesn't have to do that. Talk to me about that.
I think he's I think he's in the second tier if we could just give him you said the word minutes. I mean, he's averaging less than 30 minutes a game, 27. Man, if he just kind of did the 33, and I would put him in the second tier with DeMar DeRozan, with give me a couple more better, more than Bradley.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Well, DeMar
Yeah, I
DeRozan-
would again one dimensional. I'm going to put him second tier. You put him
Shooting guards are one-dimensional anyway. I mean, we talk about this all the time. We don't need
right,
them to do
but. Okay, another topic for another quarter, but I would put him there. I would put with the McCollums absolutely in that crowd.
Okay.
Here's the thing with JJ. Just looking at the way he plays and looking at what he does for the Clippers, he might be the best player who is actually a San Antonio Spur at heart.
Oh,
Because it
yeah,
seems
yeah.
like, if Pop could make that trade and swap him for Denny Green, it's almost like this team's going to win the
wow.
title right now,
That
without a
would be
doubt.
ridiculous.
Because, I mean, the thing is, but I guess Redick, in terms of he's better than Aaron Afolo in New York, or he's better than whatever Boston is putting at the 2-guard spot right now.
Right.
He's definitely sort of the leader of that second pack. But
Right.
some of that is also due to opportunity, and I love the fact that he's taking advantage of the opportunity,
Right.
because so many
Yep.
guys get given the chance and don't necessarily take over. But it's all about keeping this pace up, and will we sort of see JJ in that Kyle Korver
Right.
and Ray Allen and Reggie Miller and sort of like the all-time great shooters class, Mike Miller and a number of guys who occupy that field. It's just JJ now has, I guess, that in play. If you're talking 50, 40, 90 club stuff.
Yep. He's right there.
He might be the most underappreciated gunner of his generation if he keeps this up.
And the way he's playing now, it's the confidence level he's at. It kind of reminds me of when he was with Duke. I mean, he had the green light to do whatever he wanted. He crossed half court, he would launch threes, and that's kind of
being really cocky. Yep.
yeah. And then that's kind of like the JJ that we're seeing now. I mean, when he entered the league, he didn't have that swag. He didn't, but now it's there, and I think that it's he's making the most out of this opportunity. But I do hope that he's going to be able to continue it when Blake comes back.
He's getting
Let's
better
check
every
his
year.
girlfriend status too. If he's got a super hot girlfriend right now, maybe he's just out to impress his woman.
Yeah, maybe whatever it takes. And Brad,
Whatever
back
it
to Danny
takes.
Green. Yeah, back to Danny Green, Brad. I don't think anyone's gonna be able to swap him out for anybody. But I want to shift over really quickly. So we spoke about JJ. Let's talk about other guys who are kind of underappreciated, who are maybe second or third options, or filling into a role for a playoff contender. I just want to get your feedback. Maybe not a underrated superstar, but someone just filling in a good role that's helping. Help a playoff contender, stay afloat there.
Yeah.
Brad, I'll shift it over to you. Any feedback on that one?
Yeah, man, I'm really, really loving what Zaza Pachulia is doing with the Mavericks.
Nice.
I think that he's really stepped into that starting center role. Obviously, in Milwaukee, he was a contributor, but it seems like, Carlisle and Cuban stole him away from the free market. They've given him responsibility. He's definitely fulfilled that. He takes the bumps of every other center in the league, but still is able to hold his own. And I just think he's a good character fit for Dallas. And I think that's actually a big reason why this team is succeeding is because he's not there, demanding shots and taking things away from Darren and Dirk and those other guys. So I've really been surprised, but pleased at the same time with, exactly how Zaza's been developing and performing over the course of this campaign.
Sure. Mo, what about you? Anyone you can think of?
I brought up his name a couple weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for him to suck, but he's not sucking yet. I don't know if he can kind of keep it the whole way going. But Kent Bazemore, for some weird reason, is playing such great basketball for a team that's seeded number 3 in the East. And again, I'm watching him right now as we currently, and I'm like, this guy's gonna suck ass today. Today's the sucking start day. And no, he still continues to contribute well, both ends of the of the court, and he's hitting clutch shots. So I mean, Kent Bazemore's blown my mind this season.
It's the system. It's the system.
Gino, what about you?
What you also got to check is, Mo, do you have him on fantasy basketball? Because maybe
top 45 player Kent Bazemore is. I mean, in this season, unbelievable.
For me, I mean, it's Luis Scola, and he's one of those guys that he never really gets that much attention, no matter what team he plays for. He's never been a superstar, but he's always been consistent. And now with the Raptors, he's averaging about 10 points a game, and he's kind of like the glue guy for the Raptors, and who's pretty good in the Eastern Conference at this point. So they're probably one of the teams that can maybe scare the Cavs come the playoffs. So I mean, I like what he brings to the team, and no matter what team he plays for, he's going to contribute. Whether it was the Pacers, the Raptors, Argentina, I mean, he's always that guy that's consistently decent and solid throughout his career.
And really quickly for me, and I brought him up before, I think he's being underutilized in Oklahoma City, and he's only getting 20 minutes a game, which I think is a joke. It's his Cantor, and I think he's super efficient. I think he does, little things to help that team in some tough spots, some big spots, and it's a great guy to have on that team. So I think he's very underappreciated. Of course, getting overshadowed by the 2 superstars and the other makeup of the Oklahoma City Thunder. But that's my guy.
That's a good choice. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we have our halftime show. You're listening to Full Court Report. Back after this.
A Sports5.ph original web show.
My name is Dominic Uy, and this is my buddy Kevin Limhoco.
We are going to be testing products to their nth degree, to their limits.
Cars.
How many car makers are not equipped with power steering?
Gadgets.
You feel the value of that watch.
And everything in between.
I don't like to pamper myself except in a restaurant.
This is the web show for the modern man.
Oh, let's go!
Nth degree. Catch it exclusively on Sports5.ph.
All right, guys, welcome to halftime of the Full Court Report, where we like to run away from basketball-related topics to make confessions or just to entertain each other with left-of-field subjects. So with that in mind, let me ask you all, who would you want by your side if you're on the run from the long arm of the law? Let's say you're in a foreign country, you wake up in your hotel room and there's a dead body in the kitchen. You've obviously been framed, unless, of course, you are the killer, but you have no memory of it. But now you got to go on the run, you got to buy yourself some time, and ideally you got to clear your name. Whether you do those things not is up to you, but the point is you're in a sticky situation. You've got to pick a running mate. Who's your running mate? Let's go to you, Chris. Who are you going on the run with?
Sure. So my answer was very easy. It is the 16th president of the United States, and it's Honest Abe, Abraham Lincoln. And there's a lot of reasons. First of all, he is steady and during stressful times, can endure anything, so he'd keep me in my head positive. Great motivator and leader, so really bring us on the right path. He can negotiate anything, as he's proven. If anything came in our way or someone from the long arm of the law came up to us and we'd have to get ourselves out of that situation. And not a lot of people know this, he was a bear wrestler. So if it got to a tough situation, he could beat some ass. He's tall and
he's like 6'7" or something like that. Oh, yeah.
6'5", and they said even in Fight Club, I'd choose Abe Lincoln because lanky guys, skinny guys fight to their burger, meaning he will fight to the death. Now, the caveat is as long as we don't go into a theater, we'll be fine. Oh, too soon, guys? Right. But the biggest thing about Abe Lincoln is I am related to him. He is my third cousin, 9 times removed, and I would run all the way through hell with that guy and back. Abe Lincoln is my answer, all the way through the bear wrestler. They fight till they're burger.
Wow, crazy. Gino, how about yourself? Who are you going on the run with?
Man, I wish I was related to somebody like that. Does it have to be like a real human being, or could it be like a character?
Well, just someone that doesn't have superpowers.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to cheat the system.
Oh, you're gonna take my dude. I know you're gonna take my dude here.
Cool.
You're gonna take it.
Here we go.
Take my dude. Go.
Brian Mills,
The hell's
aka
that?
the character of Liam Neeson in Taken.
Oh, that was my second dude. All right, that's good.
So no matter what happens, he will find a way to get me out of that sticky situation. And even if I was already taken, he'd find a way to take me back, regardless of who took me, whatever.
Sure.
If it's the police or the warlords or whatever.
Right, so
I
you're
mean, he
saying
would-
that you go on the run with him, and then if you happen to get recaptured, he can still bust you out.
Yes, exactly.
saying,
So
yeah.
if all goes
Interesting.
wrong and
Okay.
I get caught, and yeah.
All right, he's got angles. Okay, he knows how to play the system. I'm with you, Mo.
Plus,
Who
he has
you
a
got, man?
specific set of skills.
I will. I think I'm going to do you one better, but same kind of mindset that going with the example of Framed. I need to clear my name, Jason Bourne. Man, I got to be
yeah.
Bourne in this thing. Hell
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm taking Jason Bourne because he's experienced in the exact situation. Of course, he can kick some ass. So, yeah, Mr. Bourne's mine.
And you could probably have a beer with Matt Damon
fictional
afterwards
ones
too.
out.
'Cause,
I
he
would
seems
go
like
with
just a good guy.
Since you guys are throwing fictional ones out there, I would go with John Hannibal Smith of the A-Team because he loves it when a plan comes together. He can get himself out of anything.
Yep.
Sure.
MacGyver.
Well,
MacGyver as well.
I'm going to throw in just quickly here to finish off this halftime, which has been a little bit of fun for me. I really like posing these sorts of questions to friends, family, so to see what their reactions are. But part of the reason I came up with this is because I happened to see an ad for Bear Grylls, and I thought if I'm going to get a survivalist on my side, if we've got to go into the Colombian jungle, man, I'm going to want someone who I can help live off the land, who's going to help me build a tent. Somebody who's going to keep me out of harm's way. And I figured, unlike Will Ferrell, if I team up with Bear Grylls, at least I won't drink my own urine. So I'm going with Bear Grylls here.
Nice.
Yes, I get that he's not as sexy as some of your picks. He's no Brian Mills. He's not going to go ahead and take down like the mafia, but he's definitely going to keep me alive. And I just like the idea of sort of being stuck in the wilderness, Revenant style, and having somebody I can count on that's going to, I guess Abe Lincoln style look out for me in case a bear shows up.
Now, if I was in the
But,
Colombian jungle, I would just bring Pablo Escobar with me, man. He'd just bring his whole fucking cartel with him.
My
and take
third
people out.
choice.
Boom!
Yeah, I mean that would be a lot of fun.
It would be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of partying, too. A lot of partying for the
Pablo.
kids.
So,
Or-
that almost sounds like, Gino, you're saying that you're volunteering for some drug muling. I don't know about this, man. There's a better way to clear your name than getting money from Pablo Escobar.
No reason to
I'm
mule
sure
it. No reason
Pablo
to mule it when
knows,
you take-
but he knows he knows the jungles of
does.
Colombia like in the back of
He's
his
got
hand,
it all figured. He's got the maps. He knows everything. He can even hire you a chopper to come and rescue
Brad,
you.
no reason to mule it if you finish it all before you bring it over the border. So there's no reason to mule it.
Yes, yeah. If you go into prison, you might as well have a little, last minute fun.
or El Chapo.
There you go.
Oh, El Chapo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
El
watch
Chapo.
out for Donald Trump.
He's
though.
he's
Or
he's
vice
the
versa.
friend you want once you're arrested and you're waiting for Brian Mills to come get you. That's who you want to be friends with.
That's true. That's true. Good stuff. guys.
No, I think we're done here, man. Let's get
All
back
right.
to the third
Let's get outta
quarter.
here.
Talk some
Hell
basketball.
yeah. Let's do it.
Flick the switch and let's see how we go.
All right, when we come back, we'll go back to Manila to talk to Gino Rufino for quarter number 3. Don't go away. It's the Full Court Report.
Yeah, buddy.
He has made viewers laugh with his funny antics and awesome style in comedy. He has also been in quite a few headlines himself. Well, funny man Arnel Ignacio loves good times too. Curious if he has funny secrets he'd like to spill? Then head on to www.tv5.com.ph/originals and watch Good Times with Mo. Thursday, 9 p.m. on Digital 5. Call us on our hotline, also on Viber and Skype.
All right, welcome back to the Full Court Report. It is our second half now, and we move to quarter 3 to Gino Rufino in Metro Manila. Gino, you know the drill. 12 minutes, and it's all yours, buddy. What do you got?
Thanks, Mo. Well, here in Manila right now, it's January 21. As we're recording the show, and in the States, it's January 20. We're a day advance here in Manila, and in Australia as well. So we're a little bit advanced, but in January 22, 10 years ago, January 22, 2006, that was the day when Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers came from behind against the Toronto Raptors to beat them 122-104, and of course, the very famous 81-point game from the Black Mamba. Now,
Wow.
10 years. It's been 10 years since that happened. I still remember where I was. I still remember. It's one of those games that I still remember what I was wearing, what shoes I was wearing when I was watching that game unfold, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Tomato I was with. It's inside joke. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry,
but
go.
I mean, it's this and Brad. I know you wanted to talk more about the current guys or since then, but I want to really run through some of the great performances. Individual performances in the history of the NBA. Obviously, Wilt Chamberlain had 100 points. We all know that. Bill Russell in Game 7 of the 1962 NBA Finals had 30 points and 40 rebounds. Shaquille O'Neal in 2001 NBA Finals. He had 28 points, 20 rebounds, 9 assists, 8 blocks in one game. And then, of course, we all know the quadruple double of David Robinson back in 1994. And not to mention everything that Michael Jordan has done as well. So, I mean,
No love for Magic Johnson, Game 6 of the 1980s Finals, 42 and 15.
Absolutely, that's another one that's very important as well as a rookie, as
a rookie, Finals MVP.
Yep, jumped center. So I just want to talk about some of these games and what this 81 point game meant or means up to today. And is this the defining moment of Kobe Bryant? Was this the best Kobe that we've ever seen? And since then, and have we seen somebody come close in this type of performance? I mean, Klay Thompson had what 37 points in one quarter. I mean, it was how does that stack up against the 81 point performance of Kobe Bryant? So, guys, what to you first of all? Was this Kobe at his best?
It was definitely at his most Jack Nicholson, meaning it was definitely him at his like most, forward and his, most hijacking of a performance. I mean, he basically turned into Al Pacino from Scarface, armed himself with 2 machine guns and just said to the rest of the NBA, if you want some, come get some. And what's interesting is that as amazing as the 81 is, I still prefer the 62 that he scored against Dallas in 3 quarters, where he single-handedly outdid the whole team. And I like that game more so because I think that just sent a different kind of message. And the competition, Dallas was a better team than Toronto at the time. And just for me, that was the preference. The 81 matters in terms of singularity. The 81 is such a big number. No one's come close. Obviously, Wilt's the only thing that's ahead of him on the leaderboard. But I think it speaks to the nature of the Lakers team at the time. It forced Kobe to take 46 shots in one game and just for them to be competitive. I mean,
they were down 20 points at one point in that game.
Yeah, but he did get 2 assists. Yeah. So he's a creator. He looks for his teammates. 2 assists can't be laughed at. But I do think that the idea that, he went against Jalen Rose, Chris Bosh, Matt Bonner, Morris Peterson, Mike James, whoever the Toronto team had as their starters in that contest. The thing that stands out to me, though, is the fact that Luke Walton was sitting on the bench.
Yep.
And Kobe only gave him one.
Just like he is now doing nothing.
Yeah. And he just stood there shaking his head going, this is amazing.
Yeah. And you look at the starters of the Lakers during that time. They had Lamar Odom, obviously a decent player. Kwame Brown, Chris Mim, and Smush Parker. Not much. Not much to go with. So, I mean, basically, and Sam Mitchell, the coach of the Toronto Raptors, has said that the Lakers needed all of those 81 points in order for them to win that game because they were losing all the way until the fourth quarter when they finally overtook the Raptors. But has there been since then has guys like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, James Harden, Klay Thompson, has there been another performance of an individual performance from a player that has, I guess, captivated you guys?
No one's needed to deliver that sort of a performance because a lot of these guys you mentioned, LeBron, Durant, Melo, Steph Curry, they've had better teammates than Kobe had. Like the situation lent itself to that specific kind of night for Kobe. But, we've seen Andre Miller drop 50. We've seen Damon Stoudemire drop 55.
Kemba
Walker.
We've seen
Tony Parker put up, Kemba Walker. But I'm talking about guys that didn't need overtime to do it. I'm talking about guys that did it in regulation. So we've seen guys put up big numbers. And it's, Michael Redd put up 57 against Utah. Like, Ray Allen put up 54. Like, I mean, getting to the 50 mark, guys can do. Kobe's made 60 against Memphis, 62 against Dallas, as I mentioned. So it's not like scoring a large volume of points isn't possible. It's just none of these guys hog the ball to the extent that Kobe did that night. And part of it is Kobe had to in order for them to win that game.
I put more stock in playoff performances, though there's nice stories in the regular season. One that jumps to my mind is when it was a young LeBron with not much around him in 2007, when the Pistons were the team really to beat, and he just went on a tear. I think it was 20-something straight points.
25 straight and 27 of the teams.
Points. Yeah, that's the one that jumps at it because he just took over the game in every way possible and was a machine. And obviously that was a year that they weren't even supposed to be in the finals. They got there, they got whooped by the Spurs, but that performance jumped out at me because it happened on a very big stage.
Right. And again, like Kobe scored 65 against Portland, but he had 7 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals. Sure, went to overtime. But like no one talks about that Kobe performance a year later. It's like I think the 81 somewhat overshadows the sustained scoring run that Kobe went on.
Yeah, well, of course, because it's such a sexy number, and you know what? As much as you're talking about, like, say, the importance of the 81 just to win that game. I mean, I'm sure Kobe's been part of a bunch of games where they were getting blown out, and he didn't get to a number like this. I think this is the gold standard of a singular, like a single amazing performance that we in our generation and just.
Offensively.
Oh, absolutely, because he shot 60%. Yeah, 46. He jacked up 46, but he shot 60%, and that's a great number. That's better percentage than Wilt did when he did his 100. So it is I think to me, the single greatest game that I've been alive for to see in a performance at 81 points, and we should celebrate it as we are right now here on the show. I think it was an amazing, amazing feat.
The fact that,
remember, he shot 15. He took 15. Oh, sorry, Gino, I'll get to you in a sec. He took 15 shots in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and he was getting it at a really great field goal percentage clip. Just like when Clay did the 37, he shot 13 shots. So it's not really that far off, say, between Clay's performance where he had the record for the most points in a quarter and what Kobe did in that 81 game. And he did, of course, again, he did it in 4 quarters. So it's really, really an amazing game, one that should be celebrated for many, many years.
And the fact that these guys that we're talking about, aside from Wilt, I mean, you're looking at Clay, Kobe, LeBron, KD. They're all kind of perimeter players, wing players. I mean, does that play a factor in it because of maybe the 3-point shot and the ability to get to,
well, nobody. This is the problem, Gino. The problem is nobody has actually seen Wilt's 100-point game. We talk about it like we know it, but no one's seen it. We've seen a piece of paper and the number on it, and we've heard stories and we've read anecdotes and all the rest of it, but nobody has seen the footage. We don't know the context in which he scored those points. I mean, all you do is relive it through articles.
And that's why I say this Kobe game goes down as the gold standard. I mean, this is the game of all games in terms of single performance.
Nobody's essentially come that close. Like, nobody's gotten 70 like David Robinson did, when he was gunning for the scoring title, play the terrible Clippers team, and then, upset Shaq and everyone else who thought that was a little unfair and biased and all the rest. But like in this particular context, the alarming rate in which he had to hog the ball, to dribble it over the halfway, to beat his man one-on-one, to find his jump shot. Like back when Wilt was playing,
but he had to do that every game, though. Kobe would have to.
What I'm saying is, I'm defending Kobe here. What I'm saying is, Kobe had to create for himself. Wilt had guys passing him the ball 6 feet from the hoop.
Yep.
Right, but Kobe didn't average 46 shots a game that season, right? So like it was just a magical. It's just a magical night, yeah.
No, it is. But for that season, even though Kobe put up, 35.4 a night, Iverson still put up 33 a night. It wasn't like over the course of the year, Kobe was so much better than the rest of the NBA. He just has this one night where he stands heads and shoulders above everybody else. And did so, over the course of multiple 60-point games or whatever, which is why guys like KD wholeheartedly believe that Kobe is the Jordan of the next, generation. It's because he did these things that impressed the whole generation of kids who watched Kobe on TV, who saw the teammates clapping him on and acting like fans, and, saw guys like Luke Walton jumping up and down and obviously thinking that this was just, the most impressive thing to be a part of. But, for me, it's like, it's not that Kobe did this at home. I like the fact that Kobe went into the Knicks building and dropped 61. Went into, he didn't just do it at home where it feels like he had the crowd behind him. He's done it against all kinds of competition. But you're right in saying that the 81 is just this gigantic, this enormous number that seems like even for Kobe that was somewhat out of reach because Jordan never got to 81.
So we're picking this as a gold standard
you really
just the total. This is the gold standard because of the final total of points. That's why we're picking it as a gold standard. Yes,
absolutely. I mean, 55 points in the third and fourth quarter when you're winded, and he scored 55 in the second half. Absolutely, this is the gold standard. At least in my opinion. In
the regular season, are we adding playoffs? I'm just trying to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Regular season.
I'll take it.
Regular season. Regular
season in regulation. I mean, he did it in 48 minutes. That's what's so impressive about it. Like, he didn't need the overtime. He didn't, and again, he wasn't exactly shooting Steph Curry like from distance. I mean, the guy did it from all over the court and mid-range and attacking the hoop. And, it's this thing where we watch the game now and it seems like it's a video game. It's like Kobe had some cheat code and he was just doing things that no one had seen done before on an NBA court. Because, like I said, there actually is no footage of Wilt scoring 100.
So, guys, can this total be done again? Because now the advent of an evolved three-point shot that is just commonplace now in the NBA. Can we see 81 again? Because I think we might be able to because of the three-point effect.
I think it's possible. I mean, if Klay Thompson can hit 37 points in one quarter, right. I mean, it's 81 points. Maybe not for Klay, but for somebody out there, I don't see it being impossible. I mean, records are meant to be broken. This is the reason why we keep these records, so that we can have discussions like this. And I think it's definitely within some sort of reach somewhere down the line, especially the way people jack up threes nowadays, and a little touch in the arm is a foul. So, you see a whole bunch of 4-point plays, and
Chris,
I think we could.
Don't be surprised if in 5 years, Kristaps Porzingis is the best shooting big man we've ever seen, and he ends up dropping 80 in the Garden, and it becomes a day to remember in New York City.
But I don't think a guy's gonna get this one. Not for quite some time. I know we were running out of time, but if I could call time out real quick and just kind of give my point, the reason why is because fine, in the 3-point era, but hey, it's harder to hit the 3-point shot. So if you're gonna be jacking up threes, guess what? You're gonna be missing a lot of those threes as well. So that one extra point is not gonna be able to kind of make
no. We're not saying just to quickly, I guess, challenge that. We're not going to say this guy's going to do it exclusively off threes. Obviously, it's a combination of foul shots, drives, pull-ups,
go to the line easily. Yep, exactly. Yeah. I think it can happen.
I think it's
just a combination of taking over a game. Maybe some teammates are injured, that type of stuff, or someone like James Harden just putting it all together one day.
Maybe it's
and
not.
Remember,
it's not impossible.
And would it have to? Okay, but see the guys who are capable of doing this play on winning teams. You would have to have two really sucky ass teams to pull it off. In this case, with Toronto and the Lakers,
like James Harden doesn't play on a team that there's a lot of major scorers around him, so he's a guy I think it would be a candidate. I know it's a huge number, so technically no one's a candidate, but it could be anyone. He'd be among the short list.
A solid point because the guy could go to the line and hit the threes as well. But we got to get out of here.
He gets to the line nonstop.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. That's a nice conversation about the 10-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's 81 points, and of course,
the paper anniversary.
The Black Mamba will be retiring after his 20th season this year.
Kobe, you always had 81 though.
Yeah. We'll take a break. When we come back, fourth quarter on the Full Court Report. Back after this.
A Sports5.ph original web show.
My name is Dominic Uy, and this is my buddy Kevin Limhoco.
We are going to be testing products to their nth degree, to their limits.
Cars.
How many car makers are not equipped with power steering?
Gadgets.
You feel the value of that watch.
And everything in between.
I don't like to pamper myself except in a restaurant.
This is the web show for the modern man.
Oh, let's go!
Nth degree. Catch it exclusively on Sports5.ph.
All right, welcome back to the Full Court Report. It is the fourth quarter, and I am taking fourth quarter duties again. Let's put 12 minutes on the clock and talk about Kevin Love here. Now, Kevin Love has been, I guess, downright awful these past few months after a solid start to the season. He's averaging only 12 points per game, shooting 36% from the field over December and January. I don't know if the struggles coincide with Kyrie Irving being back, if that's the easy answer, or are we just seeing Kevin Love not enjoying his time there, not enjoying the locker room, or is he in a steep decline? That's kind of what I just want to bring up here. Is he a spot-up shooter now that Kyrie Irving is back? He certainly looks more of a hindrance than he is helping this team, even though they are winning. And this is a guy who 2 years ago was arguably the best power forward in the game. He's a $113 million player. So.
At his worst, Mo, he's looking like a poor man's Ryan Anderson, which is not a good position to be in.
Right. And, to even bring it up, just the other day in a quote, he said that him and Tristan Thompson are the players on the team that do the dirty work for $113 million. He's like, that's your dirty work guy. So yeah, what's going on here with Kevin Love? And I guess I'll ask some follow up questions to some of your points here. I just kind of wanted to get you an opening statement on what's going on.
I guess going into this season, I really expected LeBron to be the Magic Johnson of the team, the facilitator, the guy that commanded the pace and tempo and spacing. And I really thought LeBron was going to go out of his way to find Kevin Love minutes and obviously shots and easy looks. And it seemed like that's what was happening early. And then LeBron decided, screw this, I'm going to take over again. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to be the bull in the china shop. And then all of a sudden, Kyrie comes back and Kevin Love just seems to have regressed. And he seems like a shadow of his former self. And you're right. We used to talk about him as a 25-15 guy and a bona fide all-star and all this other stuff. And now, as you said, he's like this weird spot-up shooter. And I just don't think the situation's healthy. The team's not including him in their little post-game sort of meetups. He's got to Photoshop his own face into their photos. And, he's basically everything that LeBron said that he didn't want Kevin Love to be is exactly everything that Kevin Love now is. And so I actually put the onus back on LeBron because this is LeBron's team. Be the leader, be the man. Yeah. Work with Kevin Love.
And Kevin Love said those, he's not word for word for what you said, but just after the Warriors game when they got obliterated, he said, we need to look in the mirror, and it starts with our leader over there. And he kind of giving him an eye roll to LeBron over there. Yeah. So, obviously that's a dig at LBJ. So is this an example of, okay, it's Kevin Love's game is there. Yeah. His ability to be 25-15 best power forward, it's still there. It's the fact that it's this situation,
but Love also
this environment.
He needs to be more of a professional, though, and still hold up his end of the bargain so that they can't pin it back on him. Like when he just stands there shooting threes rather than getting in the mix, whether it's Mozgov and, Tristan Thompson are sort of taking up the paint space, talk to the coaching staff, talk to LeBron, find out ways to be more productive. Don't just sort of sulk in the corner. Don't be that kid who didn't get
cut your hair, too.
Well, remember...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, before the season started, LeBron James said his mission was to bring Kevin Love back to the All-Star game.
What's that? Mission failed?
It's mission failed. I mean, it started out good. Like Mo said, you're right. It started out very good. It looked like he was on his way there. And then as Kyrie...
He looked good that first month. Like he looked
really November, good. He was fantastic.
He was fantastic. Yeah. He was awesome, and then when Kyrie came back, I expected there to be a little bit of a dip in his production, but not like this. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I thought that he would taper off a little bit with his points and maybe some touches, but I just think though that you're right. This is LeBron's team, but I mean the coach has to do something about this because I mean they're running sets, they're running plays, and Kevin Love is used as more of a stretch forward than anything else, and the rest of his skill set is not focused on, and they could benefit, which they should be able to benefit from.
A phenomenal rebounder, and now he's camping out on the 3-point line, so he can't grab the boards and throw the outlet passes.
Gino, when you say coach, do you mean LeBron James? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
But let me ask you this, guys, because Mo, you brought it up. Was Kevin Love ever really? Do you guys really believe he was ever at one point the best power forward in the game, or at least among the top? Because I saw him as just a stat stuffer who could not make the playoffs with a team that he was supposed to put on his back, so he couldn't be a number one on a playoff team. He came to a team where he couldn't obviously be a second or third option, at least a third option, so he can't fit into that role. But I never saw him as that guy who deserved all the money he got and was one of the best in the league. Always saw him as a stat stuffer.
Yeah, well, no, Kevin Love was never a franchise player. He was never a guy that who could carry a team. He was never a number one option.
He was a fantasy player.
He also never got the chance in Minnesota. That team was so riddled with injuries.
But if Kevin Love is your best player, you're not going to win a championship. So
so if you're just going to define it solely as championships, then half the NBA is no good.
No. He struggled to make the playoffs. A true franchise player, unless the personnel is horrendous and at times they're injured, should be able to put his team on the back and make them competitive.
I think you've all got this wrong. I think the idea that what you're saying here is a falsehood. The point that underlines all of this is that the idea that they could replicate in Cleveland what they did in Miami, I think that's the problem.
My point is grossly overrated. That's my point. Kevin Love is grossly overrated.
I don't think. I mean, hey, LeBron. So he was even overrated in LeBron's eyes. LeBron picked these guys, man. This is the team that he
that's
put together, right? And he was working. Listen. That's fine. But he was working on the abilities. He was working on the abilities of these players, not their mental state or their ability to be strong in the mind. I think that's the problem with Kevin Love is that when he sees LeBron with the ball and now Kyrie taking up the usage rate of just LeBron and Kyrie over 50% of the possessions belong to those guys. All of a sudden, Kevin Love's like, what the hell am I here? Chopped liver? He's just walking around. That's why he's a spot-up shooter. There's no way to highlight Kevin Love's game because LBJ and Kyrie just use up the ball too much. Love is not a great defender, so he's not going to be showcasing it on the defensive end.
And they've still got Shumpert and J.R. Smith and other guys that can contribute, and they're looking for those guys, and they want them involved because they want them to play D, and they want them to be effective. But, for my money here, it's just... They were in the finals last year. Let's not completely discount them and say that this needs to be blown up. It's a case of, hey, you know what? They were hurt last year. We never got to see them.
He wasn't a good player
So a
last
trade, a trade for, trading Love out of the question, Brad? For maybe key pieces, maybe like a stud 3.
You can't do it now. You can't do it now. I think that you have to ride this out. There's still half a season to go. They're still the best team in the East. They've still got a legitimate chance at the title. I think they'll correct whatever character problems they've got going on right now. LeBron's good enough, and LeBron's shown that he can be this kind of a leader where he'll bring the guys in. Maybe he just is giving Kevin Love this space to go and find himself in the wilderness. Maybe he needs to be slaughtered by a bear, buried in the ground, and then he'll come back, twice as good. It's one of those situations where I think we won't know what this Cavs team's true makeup is until they get back to the finals.
Hold on, though. Who says they can't win with Love not as a major contributor? Maybe they can. I know they can get back to the finals that way, but maybe Love doesn't have to be a major contributor.
Here's why. I just don't think he's a poor defensive player, and if you're not going to get the offense you're paying for, how the hell are you going to win a championship? He's getting minutes. If he's going to get minutes, he's a defensive liability, and he's not contributing, and he's not.
But he's not getting the touches. He's not getting the touches.
So all of a sudden, you're wasting a player, and you're giving minutes to a guy that's not going to help you. Cleveland can't win a championship this year if that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, but not
this year and not next year.
That?
Because they just got spanked the other day by the Warriors at full strength.
Eviscerated. But you don't think that where
nice
Kyrie and LeBron are taking such a high percentage of the offense that the two of them, as long as they have role players to a certain level, that they can't compete for the title? We saw LeBron by himself.
We didn't say compete. Shoot, you listen. The 76ers can compete against the Warriors tomorrow. Who cares? I was saying winning a championship. They cannot win a championship with this squad this year.
I think they can. I think it's still possible, and I think they just have to find.
All right, what has to happen for LeBron to get a ring and bring that chip to Cleveland?
They need to learn how to play with each other first. I mean, they haven't. Last year was a kind of a feel out year for them.
So you want them to learn.
And then this year, Kyrie was out for a while, and now that he's back, so they need to learn again. They basically lost half a year.
All right, you want them to learn in a year where the Spurs and the Warriors are way beyond learn.
Well,
I'm sorry, Brad. Because the Thunder. When these guys know each other like the back of their hand, you want them to learn in that year.
But they have no other choice. I mean, the reason why they have a chance is because they're playing the Eastern Conference, which should be easier because you don't have the other top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. So they should be able to make it to the back to the finals.
100% the Cavs go to the finals where they will get their asses kicked.
I think they will be fine.
The Cavs are doing this with LeBron going through a bit of a shooting slump when it comes to his jumper, and he's still 50% shooting, and he's still in a lot of ways still the most efficient player in the game.
And they're still getting their asses kicked by elite teams.
They're superstars enough with the Kyrie health that they can lead a team to a title, and we're putting everyone else in a role play role. You don't have to rely on Love as this big third wheel. He could be more of a role play role if the two of them click on all cylinders and be as good as they can be.
He's being paid too much money to be a role player. Now, Mo, to answer your question,
but who cares the salary now? You're in the midst of trying to win. Who cares?
If that's his role, that's his role. That's what they need from him. That's what they should give.
They need way more from him than what they're giving if they want to win a championship.
They should give him more touches.
Now in the season, who cares? Who
No,
cares?
I'm with you there. I'm with you there about
Who cares?
I'm with you there about money. However, my thing is, if you can trade him for the pieces that you
They won't
truly
trade him.
need,
Who are you
that
trading him
truly
for?
need to-
They
Who
will
are you
not.
trading him for?
But it
Oh,
this,
I mean, the who we're training for.
know-
I mean, there's contracts and stuff like that I have to play. I'm saying for a solid a solid guy who can play that three. Maybe LBJ's their best power forward. Maybe he's their best option at the four.
You've got this wrong. That's my point. Everyone's got this wrong. They're at their most effective when LeBron's the point guard. Move Kyrie to the two.
That's right.
And basically restructure the team so that Kevin Love's the five or he's a sub.
Yeah.
Make it
Different
six
sets.
men.
It's different sets. LeBron plays fours in certain sets. He should
Yeah.
play one in other sets. That's when they're most effective because he should be power forward at time because he can. His
But you've
post
got to rejig the
game has
lineup.
become very strong in the last couple of years.
but
Okay,
The problem is Mozgov at center, Love at the four, LeBron at the three, Shumpert at the two, Curry at the one. That combination, that five, isn't working for them. You've got
not.
to
It
mix up
shouldn't.
the
It
rotation,
won't.
and you've got to have a different order in which that five appears.
LeBron has to be point forward. I agree with
Absolutely.
you, Brad. He has to be
Or
point
you're
forward.
going to get spanked in the finals when Love has to guard LaMarcus or Love has to guard Draymond, and it's going to be 4 and out.
Or let's not forget, he might have to guard Serge or Kevin Durant because the Thunder are going to
Oh,
be
I'm sorry,
at
yeah.
the end of the year.
Gosh, Brad, I apologize, Brad. That's so rude of me. Yeah. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have our overtime. Don't go away.
He has made viewers laugh with his funny antics and awesome style in comedy. He has also been in quite a few headlines himself. Well, funny man Arnel Ignacio loves good times too. Curious if he has funny secrets he'd like to spill? Then head on to www.tv5.com.ph/originals and watch Good Times with Mo. Thursday, 9 p.m. on Digital 5. Call us on our hotline, also on Viber and Skype.
it's overtime here in the Full Court Report, and during this time of the show, we talk about still basketball-related stuff, but just a little bit of extra stuff on the side as well. So this overtime, we're going to be talking about basketball players and their non-basketball hobbies, loves, interests, so on and so forth. So let me start. One of my something that I noticed recently was that Carmelo Anthony actually has is a big art lover. And whether it's like street art, like graffiti art, or something that you see hanging in the Louvre or something like that, I mean, he has some appreciation for art, for all sorts of art. I mean, I saw this episode on.
You mean he appreciates it, or he's got the money to appreciate
both.
it?
Now that he's got a lot of money, he buys art. And he commissions artists to do some paintings as well. I mean, I saw a piece on Vice Sports that he met with some artists in New York, and then in New York, and I think also in Cuba, and he commissioned them to create stuff for him. So I mean, he's a big art lover. I know that he recently bought an artwork by a street artist. I can't remember the name of the street artist, but it was an art piece of NWA, no less. So I mean, he has stuff like that, stuff like street art like that, and stuff of more the traditional stuff. So that was interesting to me. Like Carmelo Anthony was a big art. It is a big art lover, and that's something that's well, I enjoy art as well. So that's something it was nice to know that about Melo. How about Brad? How about you? What you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little biased here, and I'm going to say that one thing that actually caught my interest and actually cracked me up a little bit was Kevin Durant's newfound love for photography. The guy got a camera and then used his camera to promote himself of all places in a platform that he co-owns or is a co-publisher of, and that's Derek Jeter's Players Tribune. And the reason why it cracked me up is because I don't think there's anything funnier than seeing Kevin Durant trying to blend into a crowd to take a photograph. I mean, this guy's 7 feet tall. He stands out now like an alien. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that guy's going to win any prizes for his photography work. I hope he does at some point. But as soon as he announced that, you know what, I want to be a photographer now and I'm going to spend time and money and energy on this, I thought, man, like this just sounds like a rich kid who's got too many toys to play with. I thought, you know what, deal with photography when your playing years are done. Let's go out and take care of business first. But you know what, he's armed with the camera now. Let's see what that produces. And who knows, Carmelo might be buying Durant's photographs in 5 years from now.
Maybe.
So, but yeah, I just thought it was comical thinking of Kevin Durant walking the streets trying to take street portraits and, hey, I'm a photographer now, so watch out for me.
Chris, how about you?
Well, one of these things, the main one I have is kind of happens on the court, and I just love the way Lopez wants to beat up on mascots. It's freaking great. It's like a very, very like this like fun thing he does with all the NBA mascots when he goes up and sees them. They do a little act, and he just like wants to drop an elbow on them or puts a kind of wrestling move on them. I think that's a good running gag for whatever arena he goes to.
Or is this Robin?
What was that?
Which Lopez
It's Robin.
brother?
Robin.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's Robin.
it's Robin.
Yeah.
Robin. Sorry.
Robin.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, it's the one that's not good, so he needs some kind of gimmick, which is great. I think is great, and obviously,
just pretty cool guys in general. Like, don't they just come across as like, back from their college days, guys that are just smart and you'd want to hang out with and actually have a bit of fun with their basketball life and don't take things too seriously.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly what they are, dude. I mean, these two guys are they're both comic book geeks. They love Disney movies. I mean, it's stuff like what? This is an NBA player that I'm talking to. I mean, it's quite interesting that what these guys have.
Yeah, way to make yourself relevant, right, Chris? Hey, look, I'm not going to get minutes. I'm not going to make Sports Center. I might as well just go ahead and beat
enjoy
up
your
a
life,
mascot.
make that money. You get all that money.
Man.
And real quick, the other one is the easy one. Is just Ray Felton's love to go to every all-you-can-eat buffet in the off season during the season. Visit one in every city. Obviously, I love Ray for that. Keep on eating, dog.
All right, how about Mo? What you got?
Don't you think Ray Felton and Eddie Curry would be like the best buddy cop
Oh,
movie
wow.
for all you can eat?
Yeah, Felton tried to eat curry, and then he'd be like, yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny because my answer is very much like yours and Brad's answers. It has to deal with the arts, and I follow Pau Gasol not because he's just one of my favorite players, or probably my favorite player in the NBA, but because he always showcases a new book he's reading, or a museum that he goes to, or a place that he travels.
So educated.
He's so edgy. I think he was like a medical student or
Yeah,
something
he
like that
was.
at one point.
Yeah.
So and then he talks about Game of Thrones. So there's always kind of like a nice little art side of Pau Gasol.
Right.
In fact, I think the rumor why he wanted to sign kind of in a major city was because of museums and stuff like that he can go to on days off. So yeah, absolutely culture. So that's why I like another reason why I love Pau Gasol, and he's just kind of great to follow for the off court stuff as well. Aside from his charitable work and all that good stuff. So
Who
there you
who
go.
doesn't love Pau Gasol?
Oh, I mean, man, yeah, what a great guy. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. We want to thank all our listeners and viewers for supporting our show, and I see our social media account for the Full Court Report has always kind of get consistent amount of comments, and I just want to say that we appreciate that. If you want to follow us on social media, it's at Full Court Report on Twitter. I know we have a Facebook page as well, so do please check that out. In the meantime, as individuals, let's go ahead and promote that. Why not we start with you, Gino, in Manila? What's up?
It's at Gino Rufino, JINNORUFINO on Twitter and on Instagram, and actually on Facebook as well.
Solid. How about you, Brad?
You can catch me on Twitter at BackpackBaller, and I've posted the Damian Lillard film clip. Watch it. Let me know what you think. I'm keen to know if I'm out of line here or if I'm on the money.
Sure. Chris?
As always, at not Bill Walton, and in respect to Damian Lillard, I'm changing my handle to at not Walton Dollar.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DJ Mo Twister. We'll see you guys again. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, everybody.
Don't forget to eat your tomatoes.
And bananas.
That's right.